Hey everybody, welcome to She's Smart. I'm your host, Maria Robotham. On today's episode, I have Christine Dunst, the co-founder of Embody Wellness. Embody is a team of integrated, holistic nutritionists and health coaches. Christine is so passionate about helping people live authentically by aligning mind, body, and spirit. I have been very lucky to have worked with Christine in the past and still check in with her to this day. Through her work with Embody, she guides countless individuals on transformative journeys towards health, mindfulness, and self-discovery. In this episode, she's sharing her wisdom, her journey into holistic wellness, and some practical tips that you can apply to your own life. So get cozy as we connect, learn, and laugh together on She's Smart. Thank you for being here.
Okay.
I want to start with Embody because it's been hugely important to me and our work together. I really want to understand how you came to it and why.
So Embody, we're a team of integrated holistic nutritionists and health coaches. We work one-on-one with clients as well as corporations and group coaching programs. Since the beginning of Embody 10 years ago, we've been seeing people virtually. It's been in our business model from day one. We have that one-on-one aspect, but we also have this beautiful virtual practice that really can target a lot of people.
You've been able to connect to more people doing it that way.
Absolutely. Even our Connecticut clients, sometimes they can't come to you, or taking an hour and a half out of their day doesn't work. So having these virtual sessions really matter. A lot of people ask me, how can you possibly connect with people virtual? You really can. And some people need that space to become comfortable with you until they can really connect in another way. So I feel like virtual connects you in a different way too.
I reached out to you because I was finally ready to make some health changes in my life. And I was like, you know what? It's time. What are other people coming to you for?
Yeah, it's a great question. The majority of the women I work with now, they're in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I have people in their 70s that I'm working with. Of course, I want to look good. I want to feel good, but it's so much more, right? It could be, I'm overstressed. I'm not sleeping well. My hormones seem like they're out of control. I work a lot with perimenopause and menopausal clients. I work in gut health. They all tie together in this beautiful web. A lot of the gut health clients, you know, they're constipated, they're bloated. Christine, I have this lower belly pouch that I can't figure out. We look at a client way beyond just the nutrition. It's so important because we also work with women on healing the relationship they have with themselves, as well as food. They go hand in hand. We always transcend nutrition when we work with any of our clients. It is going to get into your sleep, stress levels, self-care rituals, supplements, movement practice. We're just so much more than just nutrition. If you are suffering with gut health, autoimmune, or your hormones are really in a place that you don't feel in control, you have to look at all those pieces. That's where we see the most success with our clients. Yeah. You asked why we started Embody. The word embody really means so much, right? Like, our vision 10 years ago, we want to help people embody wellness where they are. What it means for you is different than what it means for me. And we meet everybody where they're at, which is huge. We also have some male clients. A lot of my female clients want me to work with their husbands because their husbands won't necessarily listen to all the changes they want to implement. So I have a good deal of clients, husbands that I work with, and a lot of very high level executives. I have a group of women in their low 20s, and I'm doing more and more teenage athletes. It means so much to me to empower these women at that age.
If I knew how to eat well at that age,
how to take care, how to be kind to myself, all of these pieces. I take it very seriously. When a client wants me to work with their daughter, it's a big deal. It's a lot of responsibility.
It's a huge amount of trust too. It's a huge amount of trust that they're giving to you, which is just a testament as to who you are, honestly.
And when I'm working with my clients to empower them to make changes in their lives, you might not think that they're watching, but you might see something in a month, 2 months, 3 months down the line. I've seen it with my own children. They don't jump and meditate, but then I'll see them do something for themselves to take care of themselves. And I sit there and I'm like, it's so so important because we do watch.
Grayson made his own meditation space. I walked into his room one night and I'm like, Grayson, what's going on, buddy? And he goes, well, I'm creating my meditation space because he saw mine.
That's incredible.
And he'll come in and meditate with me sometimes. He doesn't last the whole time.
Yeah.
But he'll do the breathing. And for their sports, it's really good for them to be able to sit and focus for a little while. So he does it. And his space is hysterical. It's got like a snowboarding trophy and a snowboarding jersey.
It's amazing.
Crystals that my sister sent.
I think it's amazing. And I know he's really into his sports.
Yeah.
The potential of having that awareness is only going to increase your athletic performance times a million. And for young kids to realize that, wow.
It's pretty amazing.
It blows your mind.
I wouldn't have seen that had I not
Exactly.
started incorporating that into my life and making it important that I get it in.
1,000,000%. And I'm not sure how you grew up. I come from a family of 5. I saw my parents work really hard, but the whole idea was work hard and that's how you're going to achieve. Work hard. I never saw this relaxation. Not a lot. And then we have to reparent ourselves. Your comment in the very beginning is so spot on with what I feel. If I would have known that in my teen years, in my early 20s.
I wanted to, since we're talking about meditation,
Yes.
talk about self-care rituals. When we work together, creating those rituals was very important.
Yeah.
Explain to us what the ritual is and in your mind what it would look like or how you do yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is even self-care, right? Self-care in our definition is whatever thought or action brings you to your highest self. We're not going to always be our highest self at all times, but the beauty of creating rituals is something you do every single day for yourself to bring you to that state. It can be a thought. It doesn't necessarily have to be an action. I love getting my nails done and hair and all that stuff. It's not to say that those aren't self-care pieces. They absolutely are. Rituals are something you do in a more reverent way every single day. How I work with every client is meeting them where they are because your rituals should be different than mine because we're different. We're bio-individual. And so I never self-impose a client to have to meditate or have to do a breathing practice because for some people it could be singing, it could be playing the piano, it could be going on walks. So all of those pieces can bring them to their highest state. I'm happy to go through my personal rituals if you would like.
Yes, everyone wants to know.
I have a lot in my toolkit, so it depends on where I'm at. But I do certain things for myself every single day, no matter if I'm on vacation, no matter if I'm in a really low mood. All of these things I think of as anchors to pick me up and kind of creating what I like to think of as resiliency in my body and in my nervous system. The second I wake up, and this has kind of shifted my world. I started doing this almost 10 years ago. I've been doing different versions of it. I do not look at my phone. It was a huge habit I needed to break because the second I woke up, I would look at my phone and that would just spiral me. It wouldn't help me be a creator of my life. It helped me be this reactionary, let life take me kind of thing. And that's not what I want. I want to be a creator of my life. The second I wake up, I do a meditation. It's a gratitude meditation, but it's a breathing practice. I've been a meditator for 20 some years, but my breathing practice has evolved. And I think it's the breath work that has truly created my nervous system to just calm down and not be as reactive. So my breathing practice is a deep belly breathing practice derived from Andrew Weil. You inhale for 4 to 5 breaths, hold for 5 breaths, and then exhale for 6 to 7 breaths. The longer you exhale, the more you're stimulating your vagus nerve to get into the parasympathetic nervous system state, getting you out of fight or flight. The more you're conditioning your body, just like you work out, the more you're practicing that every single day, your nervous system starts to shift big time. Instead of practicing it at times of trauma or stress, you're practicing it when you have the highest consciousness in the morning. If you think of manifestation or what you want to create in this life, you need to be at a certain vibration to do so. All of the spiritual teachers talk about this in different ways. But what really helped me is I do my meditation practice at night, but the breathing in the morning just helps me handle anything that's coming my way. I do it for about 12 to 15 minutes. I literally started with 1 minute every single day, and I was committed to it. I always have my hand on my heart. The hand on your heart stimulates your vagus nerve to say that it's safe. It's very interesting for those of you who are parents, or even if you're not, to your kids when they're upset, like, honey, it's okay. You put your hand on their chest, or you put your hand on their back. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's like this beautiful act of kindness to myself to say I'm safe, to decompress my existence for 12 minutes. I think of gratitude as I'm doing it. I think of a white light protecting me. When I'm done with my meditation, I practice this with clients. Maria, we had an affirmation, a mantra. I end my breathing practice with what I'm focusing on. Then I say, I want to be a channel today. How can I best serve this world today? I start my day that way. Did I have to wake up earlier to do this?
Yeah.
Even on vacation, I might not get the full 12 minutes, but I'll get a few minutes in, and I'm not going to be super stressed about it. You can't out-supplement your way for stress or take all these different herbs. It's this interior work that's changed my existence. Do hot water and lemon in the morning. I do ashwagandha and matcha in the morning every day. Ashwagandha is adaptogen that helps your nervous system really adapt to stress. So if you're lower, it brings you up a little bit. If you're up with anxiety, it brings you to homeostasis. So I do that in the morning, and then the second I drop the kids off, I will not schedule a client until I get my walk. When I do the walk in the morning, it's cortisol lowering 1,000,000%. It's outside in nature. Anybody who knows me will see me in parkas and 50 hats. I will get outside in the rain and the snow. Sometimes I talk to people. Sometimes I bring in a lot of learning and podcasts when I need to be stimulated. But a lot of times I'm praying. I connect to people who are no longer here with me, who I want to just talk to. And I pray during that. So if you see me smiling on the road, you can.
You're talking to someone. Has anyone ever appeared in those moments?
Yeah. I talked to my father here, who I was very close with, and I talked to my sister, passed on. Sometimes just the sun on your face, feel supported.
Absolutely.
I feel like the universe is with me, not against me. I'm supported and cared for. It's also my creative time for business. Things come to me all the time when I let myself have space. So that's a huge thing. And then, I have other rituals. Of course, I work out. And then I have a whole set of night rituals that I do.
Every night you do the same ritual?
Not necessarily. I really listen to what I need, but a lot of nights I do.
But the morning one stays the same?
It's what I truly need. My kids know it. My husband knows it. At night I do various things. I want to hear yours.
I've created new ones as we've worked together and moved on and realized what is best for me.
Yep.
It's changed a bit. I used to work out at 5:30 every morning. Yes. I'd wake up, get into the gym, and get it done. That really happened because I was afraid. It was never going to get done, a fear that I was going to put on weight. All these fears were sitting there. And then over the last 6 months, I've really been thinking about what is helping me. How am I my best self? I have to move every single day. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a strength workout, a spin, a walk with the dog, anything. I will move my body. It is how I release everything that's inside of me. It is how I feel the world and the earth. It's movement. So every day is the movement. But I wake up in the morning now and don't look at my phone.
Amazing.
I've started trying to read the Wall Street Journal on the weekends. Jeff Bezos was talking about how he does not look at any technology when he wakes up in the morning. He calls it putting around his house or wherever he is. I thought, this could really work for me.
I love it.
So my alarm goes off at 5:30. I take the dog out. I light all the candles in my house. I Palo Santo the rooms with whatever I feel we need. And this doesn't take long. This is a 5-minute ritual. Then I have my lemon water or some celery juice. And then I sit. Sometimes I'm just feeling the energy. And I've created this visualization in my mind of the energy surrounding me. I feel the ground beneath me. By that time, the dog's barking and needs to come inside.
Yeah.
And it's time for a cup of coffee. I've been doing that since the summer, even in Rhode Island, even in California. When I'm not home, I feel like I need it more.
You don't feel grounded.
That connection you need.
Yeah.
And and then the workout is scheduled every day. But I've stopped beating myself up when it doesn't happen by a certain hour that I have decided in the day it had to happen by. And then what happens is the day goes on, right? Things are thrown at you that weren't on your schedule or that you weren't planning for. If I didn't have those 15 minutes in the morning, the grounding disappears.
Do you do any ritual during the day?
I walk Ollie.
You walk? Yes.
Oh, I walk. I take him
Can I tell you a
outside.
fun little story? So Maria and we sort of live close to each other now. And you didn't know I saw you doing this, and I loved it so much.
Was I dancing? Was I singing?
You were dancing, and it brought me so much joy, Maria. She had these big headphones on, and she was in her own world dancing, and you didn't even care. You didn't care who was around.
I've stopped giving the fucks. I really have. And what I find when I'm running, because I don't get to run very often, it hurts. Yeah. It's not as comfortable now as it used to be.
Of course.
But I will find that I put on great music. Yes. And my body wants to move and it wants to dance. Yes. If a beat comes on,
you go.
I will shimmy down Kettle Creek and Old Hyde. And I'm so glad you got to witness this experience.
It brought me happiness. And I was bringing that up because that's a form of self-care. Music can be that pause in the afternoon. Even when I was driving over here, I needed to come down a little bit, and I had my chanting on. It's such a huge thing, and it doesn't require money. It just shifts your energy.
Turn on that music and dance around. It's so fun. Growing up, the kitchen was always a big deal. We always had music playing. But cooking, whenever I'm home with my sister and we're together, there's music playing, and we're dancing and cooking. It happens here when I'm with my wives.
So much.
We're doing the dishes together at 11 o'clock at night, and the wives are dancing.
But you can't change the circumstance, so you have to do the dishes at 11 o'clock at night.
But you got to make it
fun and joyful. Your kids are going to see that. Are they dancers?
They're very funny dancers. What inappropriate at times.
If anyone has seen Maria dance, I mean, I think I've seen some African dancing from.
I studied it in college. I always wanted to dance.
Studied Africa?
My dad saw the class assignments and he goes, "Is this a course?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because I was looking to minor in dance. On the weekends, I would go to these drum circles, and I love it. Can we talk about, I know we're talking about rituals, but part of those rituals in self-care is supplements and how you're adding them into your life, right?
Yes.
And as we age, we're all talking about perimenopause and how our bodies are changing and what we need to add in. And I know we have talked to doctors and holistically do all of this.
Yes.
But what are some pieces that you have found have helped your clients?
Yeah. The perimenopause, just for those who may not be as familiar, it's approximately 10 years prior to menopause. Menopause, the definition is really when you stop menstruating for a full year. I have clients in their late 30s who are in perimenopause. And it's different for everyone. So Maria, you're 45. Yeah. I'm 49. I'm almost 50. And some of the critical pieces is that when you enter in perimenopause, or you're in perimenopause or menopause and beyond, is your gut health. It's critical. You have to actually metabolize the hormones, right? You have to expel the hormones. You have to have a really clean gut so your body is set up for these hormonal changes. That's why we work with our clients.
The hormones are changing. Tell me about this expelling of them, because I haven't heard that before.
We have a lot of people come to me and they're constipated in their 40s. How does your body detoxify? It's how you go number 2. That's why I'm going to talk to every single client about their digestion. And it's also through sweating. If you're not going to the bathroom every day, or you can have excessive estrogen in your body, for instance, and that's where you might have heard like estrogen dominance, okay? The other thing too is like your blood sugar at this age group, regulating your blood sugar and focusing on protein intake is really important. Even for myself, what I've experienced, let alone the hundreds of women I've worked with, is that your body requires it differently at this age. We lose 3 to 5% of our muscle mass starting in our 30s. How many women come to me, they're in a deficit. And not only in a deficit of protein, a deficit of fiber, a deficit of hydration, a deficit of magnesium, of Vitamin D, another big one is B12. Iron is something I'm always looking at, in ferritin levels. When you're talking about the supplementation at this age group, I'm always looking at those pieces as well as in perimenopause and menopause, because it's really critical. And then that gets back to the gut health piece, because you may be eating some of these, but your gut may not be absorbing them. You might be deficient through lab testing, feeling more anxious or different symptoms that could be a deficiency in your vitamins and minerals, which is another important piece we work at. The other piece with perimenopause and menopause is the stress component.
Yeah.
If you're going to somebody for your nutrition and you're not focused on your cortisol, that's where we're missing the boat, because if you're constantly producing cortisol, this fight or flight state all the time, what's happening is more blood sugar. You're producing more insulin in the body. And that could really be a problem for the lower belly. And that's what it can manifest into, that we hear a lot about.
Does that add into the inflammation we'll talk about too?
Yep. So that's why looking at the nutrition, the supplementation, the stress levels, so critical in this stage of life we're at. And then layering on that is the sleep piece. Good sleep is so critical. If you're going to a nutritionist just for food and you're in this stage, you need to really be looking at all those pieces. Emotional eating and craving sugar could have something to do with, there's two hormones at night when you sleep, ghrelin and leptin. And when those are off balance, you're not getting enough sleep, then those are haywire.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be craving more sugar.
Totally.
And also not have as much control over that emotional eating as you would if you would have slept beautifully. So we work on the sleep piece a ton in this stage of life. Our moods can be impacted when our hormones shift, when the decline in estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, when we're declining, we can be more anxious. It's a big sign of perimenopause, or depressed. Instead of just going the route of trying to medicate, not to say that that's a beautiful route for people who need it, absolutely, but there's also all these other factors to really play at and really work towards, so that you're giving your body all these different chances to do it holistically as well.
I love that you mentioned the anxiety part of it, because I never thought that the hormones were affecting that, because I might become more anxious flying.
And gut health is pretty huge with anxiety. Deficiencies can cause more anxiety. Dehydration can cause blood sugar dysregulation. When blood sugar is dysregulated, you can be more anxiety prone. Some women who come to me may be intermittent fasting and not eating till noon, but they have a high level of anxiety. Their blood sugar could be really dysregulated. It might not be the best thing for them to be doing that. And it's interesting when we look at what's best for them and explore a different way in the morning. My anxiety is different. I don't feel it like I used to feel it. It's like a very pronounced results that I see over and over with my women. But it's not just having their blood sugar regulated. It is looking at that whole picture with their sleep, self-care, supplementation, gut health. It's looking at that whole piece within our practice. I would say 75 to 80% of my women come in and they have problems with their anxiety and with their stress levels, in addition to wanting their body to look a little different. But the anxiety and stress is pronounced.
Yeah. And when it comes to protein, we keep hearing it's protein. How much do we need? Like, we need twice or half of our body weight in water.
Water a day.
And then how much protein?
Yeah, so everybody's different, and there's calculations that you can do on you per gram. What I try to work with women on is that they get 30 to 40 grams per lunch and dinner, and about that for breakfast. So you're looking at in the 90s. It differs if you're an athlete. It differs in how active you are. And I also care a lot about bioavailable protein. I'm not talking about doing 3 protein smoothies a day. That's not bioavailable as eating a complete amino acid profile. So what that means is like a chicken breast, a piece of salmon, a piece of beautiful grass-fed beef, and then vegetarian protein that I really love are hemp seeds. So 3 tablespoons of hemp is 10 grams of protein. I love my eggs. 1 egg is 6 grams of protein. It's really hard for women to think about how I get 20 grams of protein. So I meet them where they're at. They come to me having a bagel in the morning or oatmeal or something that's going to dysregulate their blood sugar. Then I try to meet them with a protein source, like the trifecta I always talk about, the protein, the healthy fats, and the fiber.
Yeah.
And fiber are the beautiful vegetables. Some clients, they're not going to want to have a smoothie, and that's okay. I'm happy to talk about our smoothie because I know Maria loves her Embody. You're still doing the Embody smoothie?
Almost every morning.
What do you put in it?
I love the chia Truvani.
Amazing.
It is like Christmas in a cup. Double.
Okay.
I make a double smoothie so Ben, my husband, can have it.
Maria's talking about the Truvani.
Yes.
That's the name brand. You may know her as the Food Babe on Instagram. It's one of the cleanest proteins on the market. The other one is Be Well by Kelly. She has a beautiful whey protein, which might be better for certain people. Be Well by Kelly also has a beautiful vegan form as well.
Good.
Truvani, what Maria was talking about, is a vegan, plant-based, super clean. So,
I love it.
Yes.
It's my fave. The first time I tried it, I was very skeptical.
skeptical.
And then over the years, it's my ritual too. My
Totally.
protein shakes, chia Truvani, blueberries, and then depending on the day, either spinach, arugula, kale,
Amazing.
maybe a combo.
Amazing.
Then I add chia seeds, flax seeds, and half oat milk, half water. I've switched from almond milk. I really like the oat milk. I have found that the days that I have my protein shake, I don't snack in the afternoon. I'll have whatever I can for lunch, but the days I don't have that protein in the morning, I'm grabbing for the popcorn or the organic Pringle things that I get the boys.
All of the little snacky stuff.
The little snackies, which for me, not that they're not fun and I can have them, I don't digest. When I've worked with Christine, the biggest issue for me was constipation. I've been dealing with it since I was a child. We really looked at all the pieces that I was putting into my body. That's what stops me up, literally. When I'm having all the beautiful things, the salads with the chicken and the hemp seeds and the vegetables, everything flows. And for me, that's the biggest thing.
One of Maria's success factors, the root cause was gut health. And you weren't probably getting enough. It wasn't just fiber. It was also absorption of your nutrients. And that's why cleaning up the gut lining and all in your smoothie, you have fiber. So putting 1 tablespoon or 2?
1 tablespoon for each of us. So 2 tablespoons.
Amazing. And then Maria's also getting 20 plus grams of protein. So not only does her Truvani have 20 grams, the chia seeds have protein, and chia also has fat. So you'll never see in our smoothies just fruit or just protein. It has to be that trifecta. And that's why it's so important, Maria, you're not just doing spinach, you're rotating your cruciferous veggies. And that's really important because your gut needs that. I'm always working with clients on diversifying their cruciferous vegetables, which is huge. I can talk forever about the benefits of them. The other thing is I always make sure a client has a healthy fat. So Maria chose chia. You can choose avocado. You can choose nut butter. And I love your combo with almond milk. You do some water now. Now you want to do a little oat milk, does have more sugar. But how Maria's balancing it is with the protein. It would be interesting to see a glucose monitor to see if your blood sugar would be raised with how you're drinking it with the oat milk versus almond, or is the protein really stabilizing it?
Oh, I've looked at those and I'm curious.
They're really fascinating. There's so much collective data on eating more protein stabilizes your blood sugar. It's looking across cumulative data from all these continuous glucose monitoring, but it is individual as well. What raises your blood sugar might not raise mine. Out of my 10 years, the number 1 recipe in our cookbook is what we're terming body nourishment protein smoothie. It's pretty huge. I've seen result after result with this because clients come to me maybe having 5 grams of protein in the morning over and over. Christine, this is a game changer.
I feel like protein too, it's almost like lifting weights. We were all kind of afraid of it for some reason.
1,000,000%.
We didn't know what to do with it. And it was the fear of, I'm going to get bulky. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. And it was just
complete misinformation.
I want to go into exercise, but first, can we talk about the book, since we're talking about recipes.
Of course, yeah.
Christine published a book over the summer, right?
Yep.
That's when it came out. And it's like a 7-day reset, but also these beautiful recipes in it.
There's so many recipes that I love. I don't have a ton of desserts in there because the cookbook, what I really wanted to do was curate it. It has 60 plus recipes in it, all anti-inflammatory, all focused on nourishment. It is gluten-free, grain-free, dairy-free, no refined or processed anything, all curated based on results from my clients. Not only tangible results such as weight loss and feeling incredible, but my family loves it. And when I hear that, that's a win-win because it's so stressful when we want to take care of ourselves, to take care of our family. And when you can have one recipe that does it all, it's so great, right? And even for you and your husband doing the smoothie, the ripple effect is beautiful. The cookbook has that curation to it, which is really important. And then it also has what Maria was alluding to, a 7-day meal plan. If you just did the meal plan for 7 days, I've seen it and I have results from clients. People feel good after just a week. Even if you don't want to commit to that, just try to swap and upgrade a few meals a week. Start there. You don't have to start with this complete overhaul, but maybe it's like, you know what, I'm going to try this one or two, or I'm going to try this smoothie for a few days a week. And how do I feel? And I think that's a really huge thing. Yeah. Another thing with a cookbook that I'm really proud of is I'm all about collaboration here locally. I love the women I collaborate with. Over the past 10 years here in Connecticut, we have 5 incredible women chefs who contributed to this, which is beautiful. The whole reason I put this together is for my clients. Every time I work with clients, I want it to be easy and simple and not having them go all over the place for recipes. So I wanted to make that really simplistic. But also, I wanted to give back. The proceeds go to an organization that matters greatly to my family and it's ANAD, and they support women with eating disorders. They have helped my sister tremendously when she was going through her battle. Not only my sister, my whole family needed the support. My mother dearly needed the support. Yeah. And they were truly angels on this earth for what they've done. I'm thrilled that I can use what I've worked on for the past 10 years to support this organization and to have women feel empowered and to care about their own kindness and worth. It's a beautiful thing. All the proceeds go to that.
It's a great organization. The piece about ANAD, which is how I refer to it, is when I suffered from eating disorders. I was talking with a friend about this the other day because I wasn't sure how much I was going to share. There's still some shame that sits in there, which I think a lot of people who have dealt with that, there's still shame involved in it.
There is.
Because you have to eat. It's not the eating that's the problem. There are deeper issues, but it comes out in that way because it's the one thing you can control. I'm a controlling person by nature. When I left school to get help, there were no beds in hospitals. So they put us in a rehab facility with alcoholics and drug addicts because they didn't know what to do. This was back in 99, 98, a long time ago. When I saw that you were giving the proceeds to them, I bought 2 books and was like, how much more can I buy? Because it is an amazing organization. Yeah. I just loved that you did that. And I don't know if people know what happened to your sister and if you're willing to share that.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing. I believe this with all my heart. The more we can break down the shame, the more we can have these conversations, you will be so shocked at how many people have had some sort of disordered eating, even not a full-blown eating disorder. That was one of the reasons why I shared what my family went through and what I went through. I also went through an eating disorder in my early 20s. My family never knew. My sister never knew until way later when I shared everything with her. And so what happened is my beautiful older sister, she was 2 years older than me. She passed away almost 6 years ago on November 2nd. She had a 20 plus year battle with her eating disorder. And in honesty, it probably was even longer than that. It was a heartbreaking time to see somebody who had the world She had her doctorate degree in physical therapy, so smart, so beautiful. From the outside, you would never understand what was going on with her. I had to see that for the last 20 years. My kids had to see that. And it was really influential with why I decided to go back to nutrition school. There was a part of me that I've already healed myself. And I just wanted so badly that my parents weren't needing to suffer like they were. When you see somebody you love so dearly go through this. The reason I shared all of that on social media, and the reason I even went back to nutrition school, one of the reasons was that I thought I could help her because she was so science-based. We try to reason with her from spirituality, from different angles. And I thought the more knowledge I can bring, potentially that could help. So that was one of the reasons I went back to school, to support her and my family. Now, looking back, after I shared everything about my sister, which was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I haven't talked as much about it because I'm still in a healing place, but hundreds of women came out after that, writing me, friends from high school, people in college. It was mind-blowing. I started thinking, if we could just be honest and vulnerable, we can really impact change. If I am working with somebody who had disordered eating, nobody understands fully unless you've been in. It is a form of hell that you're in. You put yourself in. It gives me a level of compassion that you can't learn in school unless you've been through it. If we could just influence that one person to care about themselves, it's really their families that are being influenced. It's hundreds of people that you are helping from that one person realizing their worth. And that's what keeps me going every day. I see it in my clients. I see them have a different relationship with food. I think it is honoring my sister. I believe in that.
Absolutely. My sister saved me twice. It was the toughest love, the most necessary thing to say, because no one knows what to say to you. No one knows how to treat you. You're like a fragile thing that they're afraid to do anything. My parents were terrified. My mom thought I was blaming her, and it was never about that. My dad was just broken.
You're his
like,
little girl.
What? She's just disappearing. My best friend, Danny, flew home from Dartmouth and was like, what is going on? Those were the people who were honest. Christina really dragged me out of dark places, that one.
She was your earth angel. You have to think of these people, but your path was meant to do so much more in this lifetime. Think of all those pivotal moments and those people who have picked you up off the floor. You have to be so grateful that you were receptive for it. Sometimes with this illness and what we saw, and I think sometimes young girls are like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's okay. I'll just restrict. I just will do a little bit here and there. And it really takes such a toll on every organ system in your body, on all your mental factions. I'm so grateful that your sister Christina picked you up and your friends, and
she's a rock star.
Can
we talk about exercise? Because it's so important. You mentioned before that as we age, you lose 3 to 5% of your muscle mass in a decade. So by the time you're 40, by the time you're 30 to 40, you've lost 5% of your muscle mass. The main reason I want to bring this up is that as we age, I think about when I'm 70 or 80, if God blesses me with grandchildren at some point, you need to be strong enough to move around. I want to be able to open a can. I want to be able to go up and down stairs. And it all starts now.
And even the flexibility of getting up and down from a toilet or a chair. It's so much greater than your weight. It's huge to acknowledge that. It's the strength piece. Heavier weights 3 to 4 times a week. Your definition of heavier might be different from mine. Really started getting into the heavier weights within the past year. It's been a huge change. I've been a Pilates girl, I've been a yogi, majorly in a bar and sculpting, and those are all beautiful mechanisms. But as far as building that muscle, the heavier weights, I can't even tell you the difference I feel with my energy levels and strength. I feel so much stronger. And I noticed it just in a small way, like getting all the groceries and just the strength I have now, different than a few years ago. It also boosts your metabolism. There's so much to strength training. It's really huge. I always recommend to clients, if you don't know where to start, go to somebody who can help you. I have a ton of injuries, so I was really nervous about doing heavier weights. But when I had somebody who was watching my injuries and helping me learn, I am learning how to do this safely. It's so empowering. The big thing is to be really smart about the weight training, especially as you age. When I have women who are in their 60s, they're at a different level, right? When you're at your 40s, and they might not have ever strength trained in their entire life. So I do recommend trying to go to a trainer. There are also some wonderful online trainers you can do online.
I feel like for form though, if you're going to start lifting weights, somebody's got to show you the
I
proper
agree.
way.
I'm so grateful for the guide. For my injuries, I'm stronger. I'm training to build muscle, but I'm training to rehab in a way that's super intelligent. I broke my femur bone before, so it's a huge break and shattered my kneecap. Squats and all this stuff. I have to be really smart. So it's such a difference.
You need those weights.
What I do and what you do that I know is balancing that with beautiful walks for the cortisol, for your mental peace, for getting into visceral fat, all of the goodness, cardiovascular health, mental health is really huge.
I want to talk about the ice baths and the saunas because
they're beautiful biohacks and really important. Saunas are a beautiful detoxification method. You have to remember it's to detoxify your body, you're sweating. I'm a big believer in that. It also calms your nervous system. Going in a sauna regularly can help your anxiety levels. It can help your moods. A lot of times the saunas have different light therapy as well that correlates to different parts of your body. So it is a mood elevator. It's an energy elevator. How I talk to clients about using those is a few times a week. If you have one at your house, a daily practice is a beautiful thing. You have to be smart about your hydration before and post it. You have to be smart about the length of time you're in it. Everybody's different. Even if your friend can go in it for a half an hour, you have to be really intelligent with what your body can do. I'm always talking about specific electrolytes before and after. You want to replenish so you don't feel depleted and you're getting all the benefits. The thing about cold plunging is remarkable. It stimulates your mitochondria. Your mitochondria is your energy production. What I love about the cold plunging is that it is bringing you this energy boost that it's hard to get other places, right? But it's also incredible for this meditative process. The times I was in a cold plunge, everything stops around you and it shows you what is really going on in your mind. To me, it's a very big mindfulness tool for your body. There's so many other health benefits as well. I use them in different ways and they are biohacking in different ways. Let's say you can't get to a cold plunge. You can put a cold shower on for a minute or two, which I love to do. The other biohack I'm obsessed with is my trampoline. There's also more studies with menopause and perimenopause with the jumping. You're trying to build bone density and it's really powerful to jump. For me, I use it like my walks. It's like this huge release. I dance, Maria, on my trampoline. I put my trampolines outside. It helps my mental clarity. When I have back-to-back clients, I will go on there for like 2 minutes and I'll just bounce.
You just bounce.
I bounce, I shake. If you study the vagus nerve and getting into parasympathetic, sometimes the shaking and the somatic experience brings your nervous system down. That's probably one of the reasons why you love dancing. Your body releases.
With the vibrations.
The vibrations. And the jumping is a lymphatic release. That's huge for detoxification. As you're going into these changes, these few minutes to clarify your lymphatic system so things can flow is huge. The other biohack I love is my Epsom baths. I do baths every night. I don't have a sauna, but my baths have Epsom. Epsom pulls toxins from the body. Epsom is high in magnesium. It's part of my nightly rituals. It calms my nervous system. I am sweating. From those, I replenish afterwards too. I love the cold plunges and saunas, but I also love to give people options of what's actually accessible in their home, which is important. And the trampoline, I get questions all the time. I love my jump sport. It's a more economical version. Maybe it was $250 on Amazon, 200-ish.
Yep.
So there's ones that are much more expensive, but I love it. I've had it for 10 or 15 years and it's perfect. It's incredible.
Okay, I always ask 3 questions. My first question is, what is something you've changed your mind about recently?
Yeah, so it's not necessarily recently, but I think it's important. You and I spoke about it a little bit earlier. I was vegetarian for 25 years and I started eating fish maybe 10 years ago. I was really tuning in and listening to my body. I haven't had beef in 25 years. 4 years ago, I was just craving a burger like no other. I asked my husband to have a bite of his burger, and it was so delicious. What was really fascinating is when I was working with a functional medicine doctor, I explained my craving to her. I'm very connected with myself, my cravings, and I always look at what they mean for me. I asked her to get my iron and ferritin checked, and lo and behold, it was low.
Wow.
It was my ferritin was really deficient. It showed me how intelligent your cravings can be if you look at them that way. Why am I craving sugar again? There's always a reason behind it. For me, mine was truly physiological. I was deficient in ferritin, which is your iron storage. Before I was like, nope, I don't do meat, I don't do fish. But now it's just like, yeah, I eat everything. I eat what I. There's huge freedom, and I think it was my last layer of just clearing that out and letting my body take the lead and not tying into listening to what this influencer is eating for a day. You'll never see me do those things because I feel that you need to build that connection within yourself of what works for you, period. Yeah. My new recent excitement is chicken. Chicken. I started integrating it and my body loves it.
At the end of every episode, I ask 3 questions to all my guests. What's the most random thing on your bucket list?
My bucket list. I've been privileged to get so many things off my bucket list, which is so exciting. I'm always dreaming. I've been a dreamer since I was super young. My daughter loves Paris. She talks about croissants. She talks about the fashion. She's obsessed. Since very young, we had birthday themed Paris things, everything. I've been to Paris several times for work and got to travel a bunch, but I want to see that through her eyes. It's something I think about all the time. I want to take her to the Paris Opera Ballet. She's a big ballet girl. I want to surprise her and just have tickets and get on a plane and show up at the Paris Opera. So if you see me do that someday, it will be a dream for me. It's beautiful when we want to see things through our kids' eyes, right?
Absolutely. Something new and fresh.
I know it's going to happen. It's just a question of the timing.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I'm going to take a deep breath because I love this question so much. You are worthy of your own kindness. You deserve it. Gift that to yourself and your thoughts, not just your actions. It's like this anthem I want to scream from the mountaintops. This deep level of kindness. All of my clients, and Maria, I hope you have taken this too from our work together. The term grace, I will use giving yourself grace with your eating, grace with not pushing yourself to work out to the nth degree, and all of these pieces of grace. And there's no shock that my daughter's name is Grace. I always knew that word meant so much to me when I was really young, but that kindness as a middle schooler, a teenager, and gosh, in my 20s, I was just really hard on myself. I look back and I'm like, I would have achieved the same results. I know I was a type A and all these things. I would have achieved the same results, but so much kinder. And that's what I'm really working on with clients. It's beautiful to have goals and want certain results. There is no need for meanness in the process and just this like beating yourself up and shame and guilt. All of that causes inflammation. I believe in that. It's not just Christine. Dr. Will Cole wrote a beautiful book about that, about the science of shame and guilt and what it really does to our bodies. That's really how I want to live. It's how I want to teach my daughter to have kindness and grace, my son, just really how I want to live. And nobody's perfect.
No.
Like what you said, you still have to work on it and we're not stagnant. So I would just hug that little girl and give her kindness. One of the things I say to my clients all the time who are working on this grace piece and kindness is, think of when you're talking to yourself and looking at the mirror and you're saying all these negative things, think of you talking to your 5-year-old self. Mm-hmm. Would you ever tell a 5-year-old that? Would you ever say this to your daughter? Everybody is shaking. Maria is shaking her head no.
Shaking my head, no
or
way.
Your son and your children. I think of that a lot. And that actually, it's a reparenting process. It helps you so much to look at yourself as this beautiful, vulnerable, non-tainted little thing that deserves kindness. Nobody's perfect, but if you can catch yourself in those moments, that's what starts to change the behavior. You're here. I have compassion for you. Yeah. So I did a tremendous amount of work on myself and reparenting and meditating with my little self.
That's huge. Oh my God, thank you for being here.
Oh, I loved her.
It goes by so fast.
I don't even know.
Thank you so much for joining me today on She's Smart. New episodes drop every Thursday. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Stay cozy.